SK Telecom T1's Rain forfeited his Code S spot and as such took last place in his group. Now he finds himself in the first round of Code A up against MVP Dream. Only one of these two players will advance. The other one falls to Code B.
Let's talk a little bit about Rain's decision to pull out.
Yeah.
I can completely understand that he wants to attend an MLG, but he, as far as I know, the story goes, and yes, there might be some other information out there, but to my knowledge, he informed GOMTV very, very late, so they couldn't react and reschedule his group so that he could play. And it's a little bit weird to me. I mean, it's unfortunate. Of course, you want to attend MLG. Why wouldn't he? You want to go, you want to travel,
yeah.
You want to play abroad. But
this is not his choice. It's Kespa's choice, I feel, in this situation. And I personally feel it may have been a political move. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I didn't talk about this on State of the Game. If you look at a previous episode with me, Todd, even Moonglade came on the show. It was a lot of guests. I can't remember all of them, but of course it was like 2 episodes ago. I think it may have been a political move. I don't think Rain had any say in this because, yeah, you do want to travel, you do want to see the world and see the United States, but in this case, there was a huge thing at stake, which was GSL Code S.
Is he could have had both.
Yes.
That's the sad thing to me. He's an awesome guy, and I talk to him a lot, especially at the WCS Global Finals. A parting translator a little bit for us, but this is, I don't know, he feels to me like a guy who really wants to show his skill, especially in the Korean leagues. And of course you want to travel, and showing your skill at MLG is just amazing. And he did that, even though he was not able to win. But still, it's just, I don't know. I feel for him it's very unfortunate. He could have had both.
Yeah. Well, Dream, on the other hand, is a very young Terran player. He did requalify from Code B. He's been in and out of the GSL quite a bit. He's very aggressive. And a very nice guy as well. You know, you talked about Rain. I actually took care of Dream during some MLG tournaments, making sure he gets on his plane, making sure that he could fill out everything, because he doesn't really speak English, so I had to help him with that.
Both of them with the same QSEN keyboard?
Yes, and that's pretty cool when you see that back-to-back QSEN. I have one of these at home as well, same color.
Yeah, but most people have the black ones. I have a QSEN back at home and it's black, but yeah, a couple of the pro gamers have the white one. Same keyboard that Rain used also at WCS Global Finals. And while talking about the match that we have in front of us, we have game number 1 being played on Abyssal City.
Yeah, a very large map here. Let's see what happens on this 2-player map. Rain dropped out of Code S, took 4th place in his group. MVP Dream coming from an absolutely opposite background, qualifying from Code B. One of them after this will go back there. This is the GSL Code A round of 48 with Caldor and Wolf.
To the left side of the map, we have the best Kespa player that exists at this point in time. I think that's a pretty adequate judgment of his skill. He's a Protoss, he's starting here for SKT1, and his ID is
SK Telecom T1, Rain.
That intro was a little bit weird, but I feel in the end he's really the best player that we have for Kespa these days.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think anyone is going to doubt it. And that's also why I feel that his opponent is in a very unfortunate spot. Starting to the right side, we have another MVP player. He's starting in blue, it's a Terran. And his ideas.
MVP Dream.
And it's a little bit like he drew the short straw. One of the guys in the first round had to be up against Rain, and it is Dream, and I don't think he was too happy when I saw who he had to face.
As Dream his position on Rain forfeiting Code S, I think you'll get a pretty interesting response.
I gave you guys a few information about the matchup, about the statistics for Rain. And usually we say that the players, or a lot of those Kespa players, don't have a huge sample size, so the stats are not as valid. And this is, to a certain extent, also true for Rain. He doesn't have hundreds of recorded games in televised matches, but he has a 73% win ratio with 50 games played against Terran. With 50 games played against the Protoss, he has a 72% win ratio. And with roughly 62 games played against Zerg, he has a 77% win ratio, and most of these games are against Koreans, which is insane. He's the OSL champion for a reason. This guy is so good that it actually hurts. And Dream, I think everyone, or most people, are expecting Rain to take this game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if Dream actually gets away with this, I'll be really impressed. I mean, he's definitely a good Terran player, but Rain is on another level. As far as results go, even, it's just not arguable.
Yeah, that's the sad story. Dream is a very good player, but he's up against one of the best right now. And it's just crazy how good Rain is. He took down players recently like Tasia and Paul. The only Terran who actually was able to withstand Rain's power was Bomber. Bomber at MLG was able to defeat him twice.
Yep.
And well, let's have a quick look at the statistics for Dream. And Dream against Protoss, he has a 36% win ratio with 25 recorded games.
Yeah, that's...
Recently lost to Brown, lost to Genius, lost to Grubby.
Not the best score you want to have.
Yeah, not when you're up against this guy.
He's going for double CC, which is a bit risky, but in this matchup, it's, I feel, safer than it is against Zerg players when you go for this, as long as you make sure to make your bunkers, you don't cut any corners after you go for it. There are ways for Rain to punish him. Rain, by the way, is going 2 gates before Robo back at home.
You know what's also funny? Oh, we have a bit of downtime here when you can talk. I mentioned earlier that you can fold a piece of paper 9 times, and immediately I get a lot of tweets where people told me, you can only fold it 7 times. And then suddenly someone comes up, no, the new rock count is 13. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. People throw random numbers at me.
Yeah? You gotta...
I'm intimidated now.
I mean, like, let me show you my mouse pad here. Do you mean fold in half, or do you mean like I can fold like I can fold like this once, and then I can go like this, and then like this? Or is it like only half folds?
You're joking right now.
I don't actually know what you mean, because if this is still...
In half, of course.
Okay, I was like, 'cause this is still...
No, if you could just fold like a corner, and then the next corner, and then the next corner.
I was gonna say, when you told me that, I was like, I think he means in half, but...
Of course I mean in half.
Okay. Just making sure. Because I was like, what if I made a piece of paper with like a bunch of different corners I could just fold? Like, I could create a piece of paper. Okay. So you gotta be specific about this stuff, man.
Oh my god.
Fold a piece of paper, I'm like, that's easy. I can do that. I was like, there must be a catch here.
Sometimes I love the way your brain works.
I just like I solve problems. I'm like, yeah, fold paper 9 times, that's easy. I'm like, have you ever seen like a fan? You know, these things people make with paper, they fan themselves? I'm pretty sure I could fold one of those maybe like 25 times.
Yeah, you're definitely. I'm Pinky. You're Brain. That's definitely a Brain solution.
Oh well, this probe could have checked for the 3rd base before dying, but he's gonna go. Well, he's gonna save himself. That's kind of a selfish way of looking at things, though, because he could have gotten a little bit of scouting information with that.
Yeah, and from Brain to Rain, we have the Twilight Council being built for our Casper Protoss player here.
Yeah,
and. By the way, guys, one of the things that is really important to me is I talked with Rain at WCS Global Finals, and he actually mentioned to me that he has a Twitter, and I immediately looked it up on Wikipedia and all the other websites. Not a single website listed his Twitter account, so I tweeted about it, and I told people to also let Wikipedia know, because I was in China, I couldn't really edit the page myself. By now it has been edited, so if you're a Protoss fan and if you want to follow Rain, make sure that you add him on Twitter, send him a few tweets. He didn't really know that Twitter was a big thing in esports. I talked to him a little bit about it, and I think he's going to use it a bit more in the future. His Twitter ID is SKT, then a 1, like the number SKT1 Rain. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So add him, and yeah, just send him a couple of your thoughts. Send him, I don't know, maybe just a message that he should tweet a little bit more, improve his English, I don't know. But this guy is so good. He's like the best Protoss player out there, and he definitely needs more followers and a little bit more support.
Yep. His opponent, though, on MVP, as far as I can tell, does not have a Twitter. So
that's sad.
Tweet at Team MVP and tell him to make a Twitter. I don't know. By the way, we're seeing another one of these Templar-oriented builds out of Rain. He's going for Storm, or at the very least, High Templar and Archons before getting Colossi out. First 2 Templar are being morphed right now. Nice reaction time on the Stalker. Even gets a shot off on the Marine. He sees the pressure coming out from Dream. This is a style that is riskier, and very few Koreans can pull off right now, going Storm before 1 Colossus. Usually people like to go the 1 Colossus.
Armor upgrade is nearly done, and the interesting thing is that to the top right we have a pylon by Rain, where already a few zealots have been warped in. He can use those later to attack the 3rd base, that by the way does not exist at this point.
Yeah.
It exists, it's just flown over to the 3rd mineral line. But
yeah.
Rain, if you look at things, he just doesn't miss anything here. He's at 35 supply against 43 in regards to the army supply. He has decent upgrades already heading into +2 armor. And now those Zealots with charge are running in right away. And, well, Raid is on the run.
Yeah, he certainly is. Meanwhile, there's a drop in the main base. He's getting targeted. His Templar Archives may be taken out here. Zealots come to defend. He's definitely going to get the Archives before Storm is done.
That was a big win for Dream.
And, you know, he gets out as well. He even forces the second one down before he can get out. I don't even think... Was that canceled? I don't even think he canceled his second Temple Archive, so he loses so much here. One Zealot, though, does continue to do a little bit of harassment at the third base.
That's once again, by the way, one of the problems that we have with a lot of players just going on autopilot. He had all those important tech structures at one of the most vulnerable points in his main base in regards to drop play. This happens on Antigua Shipyard a lot, and therefore a lot of Protoss players these days try to just build those structures at the natural expansion because they want to make sure that they don't die immediately when there is a drop play. They want to make them a little bit less accessible to their opponent. But Ray now really has to rebuild his Templar Archive, he has to restart his Storm, and this was a huge win for Dream, and Dream takes the lead in this game.
Yeah.
That's actually really impressive.
I'm impressed as well. We just see the Warp Prism going around the bottom right of the map. He's going to warp in, potentially Templar there as well to go for Storm later. This heavily upgraded Zealot force is continuing to attack and annoy Dream right now as well. He's trying to get away with that armor upgrade. He can't quite get out. Drop in the main base, though, is very annoying. He seems a little bit weak in his main base.
Yeah, he does, and this map is historically one where Protoss really struggles a lot.
He could actually lose the Temple Archives again if Dream focuses it.
He doesn't really see it, does he?
He's going for the Robo instead, but listen, man, if you get the Robo, that's also fine.
I think he can still get the Templar Archive if he wants to. Now the units start in, and now it's a little bit too late, but Rain is having a hard time in this game.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now the units are at his natural. He can't be everywhere at once. Dream's multitasking here is insane.
Look at Dreamman. He's going all out. He's trying to focus on his opponent's Nexus, but finally Storm is done, and here are the Templars ready to storm. Bottom right, there's a Warp Prism in the main base of his opponent, just starting to storm the SCVs.
Wow, look at that reaction time. He didn't even get that many SCVs considering.
He's attacking in the main base of Rain. He has his force at the third base of the Protoss player, and still he looks at his main and saves the SCVs.
Yeah, he also had a force of the natural that was just killed. He was literally controlling forces in 4 places at once on the map.
Wow, what is going on with Dream here? This guy is on fire.
Yeah, I have never seen him play this well before.
This is a Terran player who struggles against Protoss. He has like a 32% win ratio, and he's up against one of the best Protoss players out there.
It's very clear he's been training extremely hard for his matches.
Yeah, especially for Abyssal City, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider he just came through the Code A qualifier, which is a pretty tough place to be, I mean, it speaks volumes. Qualifying for Code A means you've definitely been doing some improving. Now, how he's playing here, it becomes very clear.
It's not only Dream, all the MVP players do so well these days. They must be feeding them a ton of kimchi at the MVP team house.
Yeah, definitely so. The Nexus to the bottom is being rebuilt right now while Dream reaps the benefits of having a 3-base economy. Observer does get taken out, but he's got to be quick on his feet in the main base against this next Storm drop.
Dream is really playing extremely well, but he's up against Rain, and this time the Storm drop is good, taking down a lot of SCVs. 33 SCVs have been killed by Rain over the course of this game. His aggression is really working in his favor now. Dream, on the other hand, he's definitely not out. I mean, at this point, 60 versus 56 Harvesters, 3 bases against 2. The third Nexus for SK Telecom Rain is nearly completed.
Yeah. And he's moving across the map. This Ghost Force, he's actually going to lose a Ghost, I feel, here. Maybe even 2.
You know what's a little bit funny to me is that Dream is playing so well, and so many Protoss players would have long lost the game, but Rain is just such a great player that he's still in it and definitely not out of it.
Yeah. Another drop, though, is going to frustrate him. The Storm hits. Medevac barely survives and he gets out.
Wow.
Nice choice of which Medevac to put those units into, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty close call.
Now Dream is taking another base to the top, the 4th base, but Rain has resecured his 3rd, and Dream keeps throwing units at Rain, but Rain is defending so well that eventually Rain is going to get ahead if he continues to defend like this. Rain has to be careful. Sorry.
Rain is doing better and better.
Yeah, for sure.
At the beginning, it looked a little bit like Dream was about to manhandle him, but now Rain is really stabilizing a lot, can deal with the pressure of Dream a lot better. And he doesn't miss too much. I mean, yeah, he lost his economy, sorry, not his economy, but of course his tech. Oh,
Wow, some nice snipes on those Templar. He gets all of them without a single storm going off.
Well done.
3 more ghosts coming out here, and Dream is at better upgrades. 2-2 versus 2-1 right now. He scans, he sees the army coming down, and I think he's going to go for it. I think he's realizing this army is not big enough to stop me here.
But it's all about the storms, of course.
This planetary to the north looks like it's going to finish just in time to actually survive.
But a lot of SCVs have already been killed, and here comes the main fight at the bottom left now. The Charge Lord starting in, trying to take down this Bio Army. The Archons are following suit and dishing out their small AoE damage, but there is just so much for Dream, and he's 50 supply ahead now in this game.
Yeah. He's just ripping through. Rain may actually just lose here. The Ghost does fall, but the Archon's very low on hit points, and Dream has too much DPS, I feel. Where are the storms?
Oh, there's the storm, the first one, but the second High Templar is being chased away and dies. Dream now with a 50 supply lead is about to kill this third base, and then this is it. GG! Oh my god, Wolf, what did we just see?
Well, Rain is thinking even more about taking that Code S spot and throwing it in the trash, because he's now 1 game away of having to re-qualify for this tournament. From King and Legend to 1 game away from being down with the rest of everybody who's not even able to play in this tournament. This is a terrible feeling.
Yeah, Rain is... I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from Dream here, but that's not what I expected. Dream is playing so well in this game, much better than I anticipated. Yeah. That was something. I'm so psyched for map number 2.
Yeah, man.
By the way, people are still tweeting at me how many times you can fold a paper. There are people tweet math formulas at me where you can fold it only 12 times, but there's another champion who has done it 13 times. It's really...
Doesn't it depend on the thickness of the paper? Because if you have a...
I think we are talking about the standard paper here.
Okay. So if we're talking about your standard paper, then yeah, of course, there's definitely going to be a mathematical formula for this. As at a certain point, you don't have enough physical space to fold the paper.
But the paper folding thingy seems to be a thing.
Yeah, people are really into that, I guess, in StarCraft. They're
people seem to be really passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Guys, we're only talking about folding paper here.
I know, like, in IRC right now, everyone's like, well, I don't know. Like, when I folded my paper, I definitely got only 8
People
times
are trying it right now, sitting in front of their computer, sheet after sheet, and they're like, yeah, 11 times.
Now you guys are going to have to go back and buy more printer paper at Kinko's tomorrow, so but I hope you're happy.
The really exciting stuff is happening on screen, guys, so have a quick look at these two. Rain up against Dream. We are heading into the second map, which is Daybreak, and so far, Dream is on a roll. Rain is down a game, and if he wants to stay in Code A and go to the second round, he has to pull off a win now. Here we go. Map number 2 has been started here at the GSL Code A. Rain up against the Dream, brought to you by Carl and Wolf.